Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode. This is part three of the series, the three key things you need to be looking at to figure out your insomnia. So, last episode, I talked about the mind and how our thoughts play a role in our sleep. The first episode, I talked about the many imbalances in your body that can lead to sleep issues. And now, in this episode, I'm going to be talking about your genes or your epigenetics or how your genes are being expressed and how those can affect your sleep. And so this is really a three-part thing that we need to be looking at. So it's body, mind, epigenetics. Instead of body, mind, spirit, which spirit is relevant as well, but it's body, mind, and epigenetics. And I realized this was important to me more recently. So a about a year ago, I had been sleeping pretty well, definitely way better than before, so I was pretty happy with that. But I had been learning about neurotransmitters, and a mentor of mine had suggested that maybe this could be helpful for my clients with sleep. And so I decided to take a neurotransmitter test to see for myself because I always am my guinea pig first. And it turns out I was really low in serotonin. And the owner of the lab asked me, "Do you have issues with sleep?" And I just kind of laughed because I'm like, that's what I help people with. And my sleep is pretty good, but I guess it could be better. And so she recommended 5-HTP, which is a precursor to serotonin. I started taking that and my sleep improved even more. So now it is just solid pretty much all the time. I'm sleeping really well. And so I feel like that was the final piece of the puzzle for me. Again, I was still sleeping so much better, but this really solidified it for me. And so now this is something that I also test my clients for because this can bring really quick results to supplement and support these neurotransmitters. But what I also realized too is that this is likely a genetic issue for me. And it's the same with the MTHR gene. So I, did testing over 10 years ago when I was working for a doctor as his nutritionist. And, he told me that I had the MTHFR gene. And and this made so much sense to me too, because so many of my family members on my mother's side have mental health issues. And so when I told this doctor that, he said, well, you don't because you take care of yourself. You eat really well, you're healthy. But if you ever start having any mood issues, then it could help to start taking methylated B vitamins. But I didn't need to just start taking them when I wasn't having any symptoms. But I realized that because of that, and this serotonin deficiency is likely genetic as well. And so it just has helped me realize the importance of looking at people's genes and how their genes are being expressed, and I'll tell you how I do that in a couple minutes. And, I've had so many people who tell me that they think their sleep issues are genetic because some family member, their mother, their father, their sister, or their brother also has sleep issues. And while our genes can make us more susceptible to poor sleep, our genes are not our destiny. And so, what we eat, how we move, how much stress we have, and so many other things actually determines whether your genes turn off or on. So, there is this saying, a great analogy is that the genes are the gun and our lifestyle are the bullets. So, our lifestyle is what determines whether the gun actually shoots or not. And so, when your body is in balance, your genes stay clean and don't turn on. And then when your body is stressed and out of balance, those genes can turn on and cause symptoms. And so we are born with some genes already dirty, so we already are susceptible to those. And these can actually give us certain weaknesses, but also certain strengths. And other genes can become dirty when the body gets out of balance. So again, it's more about our lifestyle and other imbalances in our body and how they are affecting how our genes are being expressed. So our genes are not our destiny. It matters how they're being expressed. And for this reason, I don't believe that genetics testing is that helpful because genetics just shows whether you have certain of these SNPs or mutations. And but that doesn't mean that just because you have that, you should take a supplement, which is what a lot of these companies are recommending. Instead, I use an assessment to see for my clients which of their genes are acting dirty, which of them are suggesting that their bodies are out of balance, and working on that. Because again, it only matters what's being expressed, it only matters what is acting dirty. So the testing doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I have the MTHFR gene if I am not having mood issues, for example. And if I get some other symptoms, then I do need to start supplementing. But I also need to focus on everything else in my lifestyle with diet and exercise and all of those things so that they aren't turned on. So that's what's most important. And there can actually be a problem when you supplement and you don't need it. So, for example, so many people who know they have the MTHFR gene are just taking methylfolate and methyl B vitamins. Well, too much methylfolate can cause anxiety, irritability, and insomnia. So, it could be making things worse if you don't actually need it. Now, we do know that there are some genes that are known to directly be related to insomnia. The PIMP or the PEMT gene, the MAO gene, the COMP gene. When these are out of balance, they can directly lead to sleep issues. And then there are other genes that can indirectly lead to sleep issues. For example, the MTHFR and also the GST and the GPX genes affect liver detox. And so, as I talked about in the first episode of this series about how liver function, liver detox issues can lead to insomnia. So that's how it can indirectly do that. And then there's the DAO gene that can cause someone to not be able to clear histamine well. And then high histamine can lead to insomnia as well. So those are some of the genes that can indirectly lead to insomnia. So this is why it's so perfect or so important to find what's going to work best for your body. For example, for diet, there's no one diet that is perfect for everyone. And so this is based on your genetics and, your own metabolic type. And so balancing blood sugar is really key, but different for everyone. What balance of macronutrients you should have, or fat, protein, and carbs is different depending on your genetics. Even what an anti inflammatory diet can be slightly different for everyone. And same with exercise. You want to be exercising not too little, but also not too much for your body and for, not just for your genetics, but also for the time of life you're in and what you're dealing with as well. Different supplements are, some people do great on SSRIs, antidepressants, and supplements such as SAMe or 5-HTP, and others don't. And that can be explained by your genes. And so different habits are going to be important for different people based on their genetics and what is being expressed. So, as you can see, since it's different for everyone, it's really important to have this customized approach as to what's best for you. Not everyone needs to meditate 15 minutes a day, but for some people, it's really helpful, especially if they have the gene that doesn't break down stress hormones well. And other people actually need more stimulation than that, and it's not going to be helpful. So, this is why figuring out what's right for you is really key. And that's why our program is so personalized for everyone because it's so different for everyone. The imbalances in your body that are causing your sleep are different for everyone. The role that your mind is playing is different for everyone. And your genes are different as well. And so this was really important for one of my clients recently who she is in the medical field and she was working part-time. So she's working 1 week on and 1 week off. And on her weeks off, she slept great. And the week she would work, she slept horribly. And so we're getting to the bottom of this with the lab testing. But she took the genetics assessment that I give to all of my clients now. And it turns out she has one of the genes that is acting out right now is the comp gene, and that means that she isn't breaking down stress hormones well. So it totally makes sense that on these days she's working long hours, she's working a stressful job, she's running around, and her body isn't clearing those stress hormones quickly. So it's affecting her ability to go to sleep an hour or two or three after she gets off work. It totally makes sense. But knowing that, I can recommend certain things that she can do and supplements that she can take to help with that. So that's what we're working on. So that is one piece of the puzzle. And yes, it matters also what's going on in her gut because that's causing stress too. Everything else still matters, but we can get started working on some things quickly, knowing, what's going on with her genes, what genes are acting dirty. So that's why this is so important. All right. That is it for today. I thank you for listening. And if you want to get started in this program, it's very much a body mind approach and very customized, as you can tell. We will figure out what's going on with your genes, what's going on in your body, how your mind is playing a role. All three of these things are the key to figuring out your sleep. And if you ignore one of these things, you're probably not going to get better. And this is why so many people I talk to, they say they've tried everything, but they haven't tried this, like a body and mind approach, looking at everything at the same time. And that's usually what's missing. So if you've tried CBTI and it hasn't helped, that's because it's just looking at the mental part. If you've tried, I work with so many people who've gone to other practitioners and haven't gotten better. And that's because either they're just looking at the physical things and there's also this mental component, or a lot of times what I see too is they aren't looking at the big picture. And that's really important when we're looking at the body to look at everything that could be causing this. Because you can't just address hormones or just address gut health. And if you still have heavy metals or something else sabotaging your sleep, then you aren't going to get better. So it's really important to look at everything. And that's what we do in my program. So you can book a consultation with me to talk about what's going on with your sleep and your health. And I can explain how the program works and we can get to know each other and make sure you're a good fit for the program. And so you can book a call for that at the link in the show notes. All right, everyone, have a great week and I will talk to you next week.